JayZ has sold out to Target, again perpetuating his billionaire capitalist hip-hop status, and again giving people the opportunity to challenge where his allegiancy lies. I'm Sean Longevity with Bringing Down the Band and the New Old Heads podcast, and this is my Unpacked series where I typically go deeper on New Old Head segments, and that's what I'm going to do today. This is from episode 490. So JayZ kicked off his celebration for the 30th anniversary of Reasonable Doubt and 25th anniversary of The Blueprint with the Roots Picnic performance, but he's unearthed previously unreleased records for DSPs, and now he's ready to drop an exclusive vinyl for Reasonable Doubt. Yep. And it's going to be at Target. There's been a very long boycott of Target for
Target.
Man, how far back does it go?
I don't know.
Since Trump's inauguration.
Yeah, basically the DEI stuff started
rollback of DEI.
For maybe 2 years.
Yeah. So
year and a half.
Considering Target's DEI history with boycotts, are people who see this partnership as negative overreacting?
I think so. When you go to Target,
If you do,
I don't.
and the thing is, like, I went in there because I
am so hard-headed. Like, when it comes down to it, I am so hard-headed. Like, it's just like, my wife wants to go to Target all the time, and I'm just like, can't go there. You got to find some other place.
something specifically from Target,
Mhm.
and I was like, man, I didn't want to do it, but let me just go in here. I'm gonna go in and go out. Man, it was all type of folks in there.
yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute, I've been holding it down this entire time, and y'all just didn't care.
That's how it is, though.
That's how it is. And then, like, and then apparently, I don't know what he really has to do with this. The whole Jamal Bryant thing was saying, okay, well, we done with that for right now. And I was like, well, did we resolve anything?
No.
And so do I think it's a problem that JayZ is selling product in Target among other places? I mean, I want to say yes, but honestly, no. I mean, because, when they put out D'Angelo's album, I'm not sure if
It's at Target.
it was at Target and it sold out. And I guess I know who was in there buying it.
Come
It's
on
the same
now.
people who I thought wasn't going in there. They were all up in there when I went in.
But isn't it about the fact that it's exclusively at Target?
No, so there's two versions.
Okay.
So the white vinyl version is exclusively at.
That's called exclusive, Terry. Okay, but
You
that's
don't-
still exclusive, though.
I mean, yeah.
Everybody's heard Reasonable Doubt before.
You can still go buy it in another record store. It's just not going to be vinyl. So
Not the white version.
Like, you can still
So
go
what
to
I'm saying
NBC
is-
and vinyl and buy it.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So
There's
that's to our
more,
partners.
so it's dropping at Target and it's
Mhm.
dropping everywhere else as well.
So what is the exclusivity part?
It's just a white vinyl.
So just the white specifically portion is at Target.
That's it.
Mhm.
Where was the other
You have to go to Target to get it, right?
place you said you can go?
You can go to Indie CD and vinyl.
Yeah.
Get all your physical
Great
media
guys.
needs.
All of
Yeah,
that,
and
man.
ladies.
Get your vinyl.
So again, back to the question. Are people who see this partnership as negative overreacting?
No, I don't believe so. You know what I mean? Just because there's been a history of Jay, quote unquote.
It's so funny because I was like guiding this conversation and there was so much that I wanted to say that I just held on to for a very long time. Byron's kind of talking about my point here.
Circumventing the movement. You know what I mean?
It's like 1 foot in, 1 foot out type thing.
Yeah. So it's like, damn, again, brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like,
It's lining your pockets, but us.
Yep.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, I see where you're coming from.
So, like,
And how much does it really hurt him to just say no? Like, even if Target sues him, he's a billionaire.
yeah.
So,
So,
would it really hurt for him to sell it everywhere else but Target?
His
Exactly.
family has a history. Well, not necessarily his direct family, but his married into family has a history with Target as well.
shouts to my guy Terry talking. He is he gives JayZ so much bail all the time, which is perfectly fine. But yeah,
Like as far as his mother-in-law and Destiny's Child, Beyonce, they all have had relationships with Target in the past. I think that may be one of the reasons why he's actively working with him. I don't know, but personally, am I upset with Jay for doing this? I mean, it just seems like something that when I look at capitalistic JayZ, it makes absolute sense.
that's the only way to look at Jay.
That makes
that's a great point by Byron. That's really the only way that you can look at JayZ at this point. You can't separate like who he is based upon like the art that he creates and that you're a fan of. Like he is capitalist JayZ. He is a billionaire. Like you have to look at him from that lens.
absolute sense. But when I think about the people that are mad, a lot of people that are mad at JayZ are always mad at JayZ.
Yeah.
And it's like every time something happens, they're trying to figure out a way to make it stick. So
Or now that I can actually interject here, I mean, Terry got some good points off, but what I would also say, or maybe a lot of this is meritable because it's continually portraying what JayZ's character actually is.
The one thing that I think is going to always come back and haunt JayZ is when he said, we're past kneeling.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was like, I think George Floyd happened like that same year after he said that. You know, it was a situation to where, okay, man, like, I get where you're coming from, but you're also you're in a rich man's bubble.
Yeah. And not only that, you stand to gain from this, collaboration.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason you saying this is because you getting something out of this.
Let's debunk another thing real quick too,
Okay.
because, or let's discuss it. And it's related to that kind of, because I mean, I saw a post where somebody had a picture of Drake, J. Cole, and Future all also selling in Target at the same time. And the question was posed, does that also suggest that they are also ops, or does the my question is, does the exclusivity and what Jay is doing specifically by pointing people to go there make it different?
That's the thing. You know what I mean? Because
I think so as well, because we live in a capitalist society, and it's, which we're going to talk about later in this segment, but it's like, when you exist in a capitalist society, just as an individual, a capitalist society is a system. One person cannot affect the system. We have to live within that system. We have to operate within that system. And who knows? Now, granted, these individuals can say, hey, I don't want my music in there. And honestly, they can probably catch that backlash from the distributors. And they can make a statement in that particular type of way they can, or they can just kind of ignore it and just kind of let it be. But I look at it in the same way that, we, the new old heads, are very anti-Spotify. For a very long time, our show was on Spotify. It was distributed there. I went to get our show removed from Spotify and was essentially told, we can't remove your stuff 100% from Spotify. It's always going to exist there. We can stop publishing new episodes there, but you're still going to exist on Spotify. And so it's like, we can only do so much, as individuals, and we can raise up a bigger, thing about it. And, maybe we can delete our stuff. Honestly, at this point, I don't even know if our stuff is going to Spotify or not. Cause I read that and I was just like, well, shoot, we can't even take our stuff off. Like, let me just ignore it. I just ignored the email and just kept on doing what I was doing, cause I got other things I got to worry about. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I mean, like from an individual basis, sometimes it's really hard to exist in this world and to just try to stand out against things, because there's literally everything. Like there's so much that's going on that is detrimental and wrong.
everybody's albums are going to sell in Target if you behind a label or whatever.
It's part of the thing.
Yeah, if you behind a major label, they're going to sell your product in Target. It's not like they're going to exclude themselves. But when you create a deal where, look, this is only going to be released exclusively at Target, then it's a problem. But isn't Tabitha Brown stuff still at Target?
Yeah, she said to not stop going to Target.
Yeah, so
selective outrage.
Yeah.
I was trying to kind of put.
I looked into this. Apparently, she made a statement after which I put on the screen there. Apparently, after the fact, she made a statement saying that I understand the boycott, but I still don't think she removed her stuff.
Everything together, and then we got stuck on that one point.
Yeah,
I was trying to kind of circle it back around.
I think the thing with that though is it's very easy to use that as a distraction. It's very easy to like see what JayZ is doing here. This specific thing that he's doing, where he is undermining the protest of Target by doing this specifically, and because of the people that criticize Jay in general, you are automatically caught off guard, and kind of in a way you start defending JayZ because of everything else, not necessarily what this particular thing is. And I see a lot of times that conversation becomes louder than the thing that we should probably continue to talk about. You know what I mean? For example, sure, Terry is tired of all these people that are, from his perspective, that are just trying to run JayZ through the ringer. And that becomes the conversation, as opposed to, well, maybe there's some validity to the stuff this time around, and we should look at it from that perspective. And from my perspective, Jay has always classified himself as, like, I think I use perspective a lot, like the business mogul of hip hop, and to, be, and people look at him as like this capitalistic God, if you will, in relations to hip hop and success. And the thing that I continue to pose is, when you cozy up to the thing that is at odds with the culture, are you still in line with the culture? I think the answer is unequivocally no, from the perspective of JayZ. But because he's a part of that. He's a part of that system at this point.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be said with that because, I mean, I myself fall victim to not necessarily boycotting everything that's supposed to be boycotted.
And I'm going to pause right here because Terry, Byron, myself, and, Jay Moore, we are not JayZ. We are not capitalists. And what I mean by we're not capitalists, we are not people that own the means of production. We are not people that are dictating, that have control over commerce in this particular type of way. JayZ is, and JayZ is a billionaire. So you can't look at individuals such as ourselves in the same type of plane as somebody like JayZ who can dictate where this stuff goes. So even though there's a personal anecdote here, it's important to separate those two ideas.
Sure. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I would seem like a hypocrite if I'm upset that a capitalistic billionaire rapper decided to put his album in Target.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't necessarily agree with that motion or notion, but I'm not at fault. I'm not faulting him for it because it's exactly who he is.
Yeah. You should fault him for it because that's exactly who he is. That would be my argument. We can't just allow this to perpetuate and continue in this particular type of manner because, again, he's a part of the system at this point.
At the end of the day, it's the whole accumulation of the other things that people, put their figure out, and then it's like, oh, here's something, and I know this is going to stick, and this is why I don't like him. Like you said, you didn't like him a long time ago when all that other shit wasn't sticking.
Moving.
I mean, I actually went and got Jackson's birthday gift. That Michael Jackson album is a Target exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
So are we mad at Michael Jackson's estate now for putting their album in there?
Sure.
All right. Well,
I mean, I think it's so easy to get distracted with that, though. I mean, I think we do live inside. Here's another piece too with this, and I give us in general, people living in the United States, a little bit of bail because we are existing in a capitalist system, and it is impossible for us to completely reject it wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
We have to exist in it. So there's a little bit of bail there, but we can. I put more fault in that situation on the estate. I put more fault on JayZ than I do the people that are going to go to Target to buy it because that's the only place that you can go.
Yeah.
We can't individually institute change. We can collectively, but we can't individually. And I think from an individual standpoint, that's why I don't go to Target. That's why I don't use Spotify. That's why I don't do the things that I do. And we need more people that don't use the fact that, oh, well, this other person over here does it, so I'm going to do it too as an excuse. Because the only way that, realistically, there's like two, obviously you can vote people out, but we're in the particular area where we have two capitalistic parties right now. We have the Democrats and Republicans who are both capitalistic, and they're both pushing for capitalists everything. There's no anti within that. There's a little bit of pushback in the far left of the Democrat nature, but none of those people have any power. But I say all this to say is from an individualist standpoint, we don't have that power. So from one perspective, the only thing that we can do is we can abstain. And we can hit people in the pockets. We can hit the corporations in their pockets, which means like, all right, I'm not going to get mad at you for going to Target, but at the same time, I'm not going to go. I'm going to abstain. I'm going to do my part and not contribute to as many of these detrimental companies or corporations, if you will, as I can, even if it means that I'm going to have to spend a little bit more money and maybe be a little bit more of an inconvenience. I'm going to do that as much as I can, as much as possible, based upon the constraints that I have as living in this society that I have, to push and put forth my own personal protest or abstainment from things. And that's what I can do as an individual basis, and I can talk about it from that perspective. Sure, there's coalition building. There's a whole bunch of stuff that can happen. You can be a part of coalitions that are already built, and and things of that nature. But I'm not going to reject it just because, oh, somebody else does it too. Nah, I'm an individual. I can make that choice.
I mean, and this is the thing that I get why it's different, but no one says, hey, Taylor Swift, you see what's going on over here. Why are you sounding
to my point, though, that is exactly what I was saying about the thing Terry was doing.
Yeah.
Is it completely pivots and puts the conversation somewhere else to deflect responsibility.
And the thing is, I don't want to do that. But
I agree with you.
But it's just always like the onus on some sort of morality when it comes to
black.
When it comes to this sort of thing, all goes into black artists. It's like we don't hold anybody else, even the people who claim to be allies.
Mm-hmm.
We don't ever say, hey, don't get your money. It comes to this sort of thing. all goes into black artists. It's like we don't hold anybody else, even the people who claim to be allies.
Mm-hmm.
We don't ever say, hey, don't get your money. We'll say, but we'll tell JayZ, it's like, hey, you don't do that. We'll tell, Snoop had a roll out with that a sequel to The Chronic none of us liked. All at Target. And it was a situation to where, like, I get it, but at the same time, like I said, I felt bad. I remember feeling bad. I had not gone to Target for a good year and a half. And I felt bad that I had to go in there and get this one thing. And then while I looked around and I was like, well, did nobody hold the line?
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel bad. I just feel kind of like upset, I haven't been back. But I mean, I can see where you would feel a certain kind of way. I mean, the same way I felt a certain kind of way when I walked in there and I was like, well, damn, y'all just didn't care at all. I think from one perspective too, and maybe it's easy for me to say this too, right? But I think from one perspective, it's like, like the things that we want to see society as a lot of times is so far removed from what society is that the regular quote unquote normies or the people that are just, let me just go to Target or let me just they're not thinking about it. They don't care about it. There's no disruption happening. I almost feel like the onus does need to be put on the people that do care to hold the line to that degree. And I do think, yes, and I'm speaking on that individual's point that I was talking about before. I do think it's the white allies, but I also think at the same time, like, it's really everybody, like that wants to stand for that should probably follow through with it. So,
or it should be a lot louder the whole time that it's going down. It's especially before something.
Well, I don't know. I feel like the thing about the loudness is like, again, we're individuals. If I look at bring it all the way down to kind of like the root of everything, I just want everybody to like legitimately stand up and reject the things. Like if we're like, oh man, like Target is canceling this, a movement is out there and we see it's existed, we should be like, you know what? I think I agree with that. I'm just not going to rock with them anymore, period, point blank, until that organization gets what it wants, right? It's not me individually. That's the organization that's building that coalition.
It should be still voiced that certain individuals, if you decide you don't rock with Target, so be it. That's cool. I'm not going to just not with you because you go
Sure.
to Target
Sure.
from here and there.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Go get you a T-shirt or something.
Yeah.
I'm not really tripping on you for that because it boils down to having to boycott literally everything that we consume.
Yes.
So therefore, we shouldn't be using Amazon. We shouldn't be using TikTok.
The damn sure shouldn't be at Walmart.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I will say I don't shop at Walmart.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't shop at Walmart.
Typically, but I have.
All these apps that we use on our phone, YouTube.
That's why I say it's impossible to
Instagram,
to distance yourself from capitalism and the companies, because we're in like this tech feudalism type thing right now. But like the whole nother conversation. But I guess the only pushback that I would have to Jay, because I agree with what Jay's saying, the only real pushback is kind of what I said, is just like if there aren't people that are holding that line to some degree, then it just kind of gets lost. And then it's like, well, like, do we just kind of like, all right, well, I guess everybody's doing it, or do we? Where is that line at? Like, where is that line?
Honestly, I think people, because again, like I'm saying, you can't boycott everything because you would literally have a brick phone at this point. If you have a certain number of things that you don't rock with those things. But you can't sit back and say that you ain't rocking with everything you're not supposed to be rocking with. You know what I'm saying? That's my whole thing. You can't put somebody else at fault if you're making your super mad video and posting it on freaking Facebook and or X, so to speak, you know what I'm saying, that the ops own. Mm-hmm. And they're still getting money off of this situation. And you're trying to hold the line on this corporation that doesn't even have as much money as this corporation. Yeah. So it's like you're picking and choosing. Okay, I know we shouldn't rock with them either, but I got to use this because it's making me money. So now you look the exact same way as a JayZ that put his album in Target.
Not exactly the same, because there's different classes here. This is the beginning of revolution right here. This is a revolutionary thought, of abstaining completely from the corporations and completely building things that exist outside of this, right?
Because he put it in Target because it's making him money.
Yeah, I saw this quote recently, and it's very relative to this, and it was, be kind to people, be ruthless to systems. Mm. And I think that's kind of like what I'm trying to get at, is like, to me, in this scenario, even the Taylor Swift, whomever is a part of putting this record, JayZ's a part of it, he okayed it at the end of the day.
He did.
He's a part of the system at that point. And I feel like it's okay for people to be essentially kind of ruthless towards him in that particular manner, because he is continually pushing that in that particular direction. And there maybe it is a little bit more skewed in these particular types of situations towards black creators or black artists and people in general because of the way that the entire system is set up. And because in general, it's usually black people and minorities that are trying to fight to fix the system in general. So it makes sense that that white people, when they look at that from that lens, that they're, they can get, being a little too general here, but give Taylor Swift a pass, but they won't give JayZ a pass. Like it's because it's expected of Taylor Swift to do that. It's expected of certain people to do that. So sometimes it looks a little different when you look at a JayZ who says he's presenting as one thing, but then he does something else. It's such a stark contrast where Taylor Swift isn't that. She's like Caitlin Clark out here. She's going to Morgan Wallen concerts and nobody gives there's no pushback.
Yeah, nobody gives whatever she does, but
there was some outrage.
There was. Don't get me wrong. But the outrage was very similar to how people outrage against JayZ. It's just like the people that don't like JayZ or people that don't like Caitlin Clark are the same type of people. Like that's what Terry's kind of getting at. In that particular type of way. But I don't want to get distracted. Right. But like I'm just saying in general, like we're not talking about it anymore. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think. And what Target is doing, this could be their situation where they're using it to try to get more people to come back.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's system type situations. And honestly, if we want to keep it a buck, that's the whole reason they had certain items in their store to begin with. It wasn't necessarily because they were standing on the line with folks or with black people. It's because they knew it would be lucrative for them because nobody else was doing it.
Yeah. That's called capitalism.
So I mean, at the end of the day, it's a corporate America grab. And JayZ is part of it. He happens to be a successful black male. So he's going to be looked at through a lens more finely than anybody else. And unfortunately, he keeps catching a whole lot of strays.
I don't think that they're strays. I think they are valid. I think he's putting himself in that particular position because of who he is and what he stands for.
Another hard truth is you said nobody's talking about Caitlin Clark. In the next couple of weeks, in the next 2 weeks, nobody's going to be talking about this.
True. That's fair.
You know what I mean? Like it's just outrage for the moment.
Yep.
And then 2 weeks, everybody's going to forget about it.
You are now listening